In this video, we're going to look at both sine and cosine, and we're going to be changing the value of k. So going into this, just wanted you to see we're doing the value of k here. We've got our parent functions. We've got cosine and we've got sine. So we'll have to do the appropriate parent function as we do our comparisons here. So I'm going to start with this cosine of x plus 1. And notice no parentheses. So with parentheses, it's different. With parentheses, you're changing h. Without parentheses, you're changing k. So notice that those two things are different. So looking at one period here, going from 0 to 360. I'm not sure why it's not showing up better than that. Going from 0 to 360. Yeah, it should be showing up better than that, but that's okay. There it is. We are showing one complete period. Now notice when you compare that, all that we've done is taken each point and raised it up 1, which means we're changing the range. We're changing the y value. So 0, 1 became 0, 2. 90, 0 became 91. 180, negative 1 became 180, 0. And so on. So we're just adding 1 to the y value is all that we're doing there. So I'm going to turn the parent function off so we can look at just our cosine of x plus 1. Notice that our midline is no longer at y equals 0, it's at y equals 1, which is your k value. That also changes our range. So now instead of going negative 1 to 1, we're going 0 to 2 because our midline is at 1. Domain is all real numbers. Our range goes 0 to 2. The period is still 360. The amplitude is still 1 because amplitude is the distance from the midline. So up 1, down 1, the amplitude is still 1. All right. Let's take a look at a cosine, or sorry, a sine. So here's sine of x plus 3. So what would you expect to happen? It's k, it's positive, so you would expect it to move up 3, which is exactly what happened there. Moved up 3. Comparing it to our sine, our values here, let's turn this one on. Our values here, 0, 0 became 0, 3. I'm adding 3 to the y value. See, 1 goes to 4. 0 goes to 3. Negative 1 goes to 2. So I'm adding 3 to the y values, and I'm doing that over and over and over again. That is going to change my midline, and it's going to change my range. Again, it changes the range, but it doesn't change the other key features there. So my domain is still all real numbers. My range changed. I'm now going 2 to 4. My period is the same, 360 degrees, and the amplitude is still 1. From the midline up or from the midline down is still 1. So that k plus, or that x plus 3, again with no parentheses. With parentheses, it's different. With parentheses, it changes h. Without parentheses, it changes k. Without parentheses, it's raising you up 3. Now, if it's negative, what would you expect to happen? You would expect it to go down. So see, right there, there's my cosine of x minus 5. So I'm still completing one full cycle in 360 degrees. And again, what's happening? I am subtracting 5 from the y values. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. 0 minus 5 is negative 5. Negative 1 minus 5 is negative 6. And so on. So when I change my k, I'm changing my y values. I don't remember where I was because my daughter needed me, but I'm pretty sure we were just saying that all we're doing is subtracting 5 from the y value for the from the parent function. So let's turn our parent function off and let's take a look at the things that change. So the midline changes, it goes down to negative 5. Notice that your midline becomes your k value, because if you're moving down 5, the midline, which was at 0, moves down 5 as well. It also changes your range. So now I'm going from negative 6 to 4 instead of from negative 1 to 1. So it changes the range, but it doesn't change your domain, it doesn't change the period, and it doesn't change the amplitude. The amplitude is still 1. So your k is affecting your range, but it doesn't really affect your other key features. All right, last one, our sine. So we're going down, as you would probably expect, comparing it to our sine here. We are subtracting 2.75. Subtracting 2.75 from the y value. It affects the range, so we're subtracting from the y value. So that changes our midline, changes our range. Does not change our domain, does not change the period, does not change the amplitude. Okay, so that is it for the changing of the value of k. The next video will look at changing the value of b.